But you never know that you could. And when you feel that way, ain't it good, good dancing in the red and gold. Dancing in the red and gold.
Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of 49er Faithful UK Live. I'm Nick Ludlam.
I'm Paul Hope.
And thank you everybody for joining us once again on, let's be honest, what's been a bit of a dour start to the week. So, Paul, how you feeling, mate?
Well, buddy, to be honest, Tuesday, I've had a couple of days to kind of sleep on it, think about it. I said in the group therapy session last night, Nick, that it was gutting, wasn't it? It was a bit of a kick in the teeth, given what happened. And I'm sure we're going to talk about that in a moment. But I'm not as downhearted as some. And before we get into it, all I'm going to say, Nick, is I'm not going to blame anybody for letting the frustrations, the emotions get the better of them. We love this sport. We love the highs. We love the lows. But feeling, as you can see, beam and smile, feeling positive. How are you feeling today, buddy?
Yeah, it's been a bit rubbish, really, isn't it? I got used to Victory Mondays. I don't like this version of Victory Monday. They're not as fun. It's been horrible. I felt like I'd been kicked in the nethers multiple times, and then someone poured a bucket of vinegar on me. I've been a bit salty. I have. I wanted to win. I wanted to go to the Super Bowl. The fact we were never really given the opportunity to try, that's what probably catches it more than anything. But there we go. It is what it is.
Yeah, it was a strange one because for all the 49er fans watching around the world, wherever you were, the game was decided really after that sixth offensive snap, as soon as Purdy's arm got hit. And I think that's what the frustration thing is for 49ers fans, Nick, is we weren't beaten going toe-to-toe with the number one seed. Now, any other team, and I'm going to shout this from the rooftops until September, any other team loses their first choice quarterback, it's like, all right, okay, we'll put the backup in, see what happens. You lose your backup quarterback, you got your third choice quarterback. Another teams think, got our third choice quarterback. We were in the NFC Championship game, buddy, with our fourth choice quarterback. So that's why I'm feeling a little bit better today. I've gone back and watched some game tape. I've been on social media. I've been, checking in with the content creators. Josh Johnson got a bit of hate for some of the mistakes he made, but he was a journeyman QB, fourth choice. So for me, it's not as if Brock Purdy stunk the place out. Devastating news coming out over the last 24, 40 hours about his injury. How are you feeling about the Brock Express being derailed for possibly up to a year, if you're dependent on which report you read?
We'll see. Because there's still two conflicting reports that are coming out. One is that they've got potentially a route where there's only 6 months out. And then, of course, you've got the full Tommy John surgery, which is 12 months. I'm not going to worry about that yet. There's no point. Until you know exactly what's going to happen, there's no point us worrying about it. We'll find out eventually. But I'm not overly worried about it because we do still have Trey Lance. Trey, he's a good quarterback. It's not a bad option to have coming in. Yes, I'm on the Purdy Express, and I'm sorry, that train, there is no Sunday service. It keeps rolling, but it just doesn't feel like it all right now, does it? It's all a bit raw still.
I feel partly responsible for when you put messages out there in the universe. I told my good lady that we would go to the Super Bowl. We were winning the Super Bowl. And what would we have to talk about in the off-season, Nick? And then little old me didn't know that we're going to be back to the, as Alex said there, buzzing for the off-season QB talk. Now, before we go any further, just want to give a big shout out to everybody who's tuning in live. It is much appreciated. If you haven't done so, please smash that like button. Please share on Twitter, social media. We are trying to grow the fan base, as you'll have seen with the meetup in Leeds. But we do appreciate everybody who's joined us for another session of group therapy, because let's face it, Nick, that is what we need, isn't it? And the positivity, you're already thinking, we've got number 5, we've got Trey Lance.
This is it. You know, it's not the end of the world. We'll get further into why it's not the end of the world as the show goes on. However, there's something else that's been a bit positive this week in 49er Faithful UK land. Hasn't there, Paul? Mr. Social Media isn't just Mr. Social Media anymore.
So hold that thought 1 second. We put this banner up. So go on, Nick. You've got some breaking news that you're going to announce.
Wait, I feel like I should drop myself down a little bit, get a little bit lower here. I don't know. Well, we all know Paul puts a phenomenal amount of work, and I don't want to steal it from you, mate. No, you go for it. I can't steal this from you.
So I've been dying to tell you all, but Lee Gowland, we all know El Presidente, he signed us up to a fan chapter, which more will come out shortly. I think it's one of the Niner Empire fan chapters. So it's part of Lee's journey of growing the group. But he has promoted me. I'm no longer social media manager of the 49er Faithful UK. My official title from this day forward is Vice President of the group, or Vice El Presidente, whatever way Lee wants to call it. So to be honest, to people watching, it might not seem a big deal, but to me, I was very humbled that my good friend Lee reached out and asked if I wanted to be uptitled, as he called it, and he gave us permission to break that news on the 49er Faithful UK live. So, yeah, now you have it. I have to change all my headings. I am Vice President of the 49er Faithful UK. I'm just waiting for the pay rise that goes with it.
No, mate, fair play to you. You do. It's been recognised up and down. You put a phenomenal amount of work in, as well as everyone else, into how the group is all run. So from this day forward, Mr. Vice President, as you shall be going forever.
Yeah, you don't have to refer to me as my official title all the time. Just at the beginning, the end, and any tweets on social media. So all joking aside, it is nice to kind of get that positivity going. Like we said, we had an awesome watch party at the weekend, despite the result. Obviously, the group was already talking about having meetups in the off season, which is awesome. Now, I'm slightly confused, Nick, because I don't know whether this next comment is from group member Martin or whether it's from Dawn. Because if you remember rightly, a couple of weeks ago, there was a little bit of confusion. Now, if Martin is on his own iPad with his own account, just want to say well done, because I know technology is not your strongest point, Martin. However, Dawn will be missed in the chat. Let's just put it out there, Nick.
Rest in peace.
But yeah, thank you for all the comments coming in. Honestly, I was blown away when Lee asked. So yeah, that's the breaking news. We do also have a little bit later in the show, so you're not getting it now. We do have the competition giveaway to do.
We do.
The Wheel of Fortune is ready and loaded. I have tested it. However, I am not host tonight. Nick is host. So I will hold fire on the giveaway until you say so, Nick.
Yeah, we'll leave that till a little bit later on, guys. What should we? Let's get a bit more into Sunday then, shall we, mate? Because that was savage. Really, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I mean, overall, what were your thoughts on the game, mate?
Like I said at the start, it was kind of over as a contest when Brock got injured. And what made it worse for us in Leeds is they'd had a failure with a fire alarm. So we had lots of screens, but we had no sound. So we were constantly trying to kind of check for updates. It didn't help that Brock was on the sidelines and was he coming back in? That said, the CMC touchdown, that is hands down one of the best feelings in my life. The celebrations, I said it last night, Nick, if you could bottle that, that's what's given me hope for the future. The fact that I was able to celebrate with everybody in red and gold. And like our band, the Gathering of Strangers, we were definitely
Indeed.
dancing in red and gold when that touchdown went in. I think it was just the fact that, like, the way the touchdown went, you know, he bounced off a couple of people and then he hit the Jets. And
Gone.
I know I said my next jersey was going to be a CMC jersey. Obviously, I won a jersey at the giveaway, so that was pretty epic. But in general, the defense balled out, mate. Lenore and Mooney Ward shut down their two top receivers. Jalen Hurts didn't have a great game. Like I said, I understand people's frustrations. I get it. I wanted to be in the Super Bowl. I wanted us to win the big one. I was as down as the next man. I took a bit of time out yesterday off social media. I shared some of the posts of the meetup, but I didn't really watch any of the shows that I normally watch, and I stayed off social media. But then I woke up today, and the Brocky theme tune was on this morning. I did my day at work, and there's a lot to feel confident about as a 49ers fan, mate. I mean, 12 wins in a row, 3 different QBs. I know we're going to talk about the honours system later on, but obviously Kyle Shanahan, Coach of the Year. But we always coin the phrase in our group, the emotional roller coaster. And my God, what a journey the Brock Express has been this year. So as you can see, I'm looking on the side of positivity. That said, I am as disappointed as the next man. And I am kind of that. Thomas Fulcher said it best for me on his epic post in the group. And right at the end when he said, what if? That's what's going to be on all our minds. So are you on that same chain of positivity as me, or are you still feeling a little bit in the middle?
I'm still in the middle. This is still raw. It still hurts. It's Martin. It is Martin, not Dawn. Get on. Sorry. No, it's still very raw for me. I take days to get over any loss. Losing completely, end of season losses, that takes me weeks.
Hang on. Got more breaking news. Just wait for the comment. You might have seen it.
So look.
Dawn is here. Hi, Dawn. So continue, Nick. I know you were saying that it takes you a while to get over it.
Yeah, it does. It takes me a while. I still don't feel great about it. I mean, there were only 3 moments in the game I smiled. I think I was just in the dumps when Fred went down. When he went down clutching the top, I thought he's broken his collarbone. Oh, right, okay, we've just lost all pro Fred. So when he came back on, right, big win, yes. Then the CMC touchdown and big trend. I enjoyed that. When he got ejected. Okay, all he showed was this passion, and he was backing up his boys. That's it. Those are the only 3 times I smiled that entire game. It was soul destroying.
The Trent Williams moment, I think we cheered that just as loud as the CMC. And it's moments like that which make me realise why I love this team. I've been repping red and gold all week. To be fair, it's all in my wardrobe. Tracy's always like, oh, more Niners stuff. I came home, another jersey. I was like, you rep. I mean, like you said, 3 NFC Championship games in the last 4 years. Yes, there's free agency, which, to be honest, everybody watching, we're not going to go down the free agency route tonight. We wanted to talk about the game. We wanted to talk about how we were feeling, but there's a long off season. So don't you worry. Me and Nick have got you
plenty
sorted.
Plenty of content in there.
Like this, I like what Simon's put. I've gone back in preparation because we'll be doing the review pod next week, and then we'll be doing and I can't say the word, so sorry, Lee, because it always sounds like I'm swearing, but our reward ceremony at the end of the year, which is always a good laugh. We go back, we listen to the bold predictions at the start of the season, and we talk about the season. And as Simon said there, Nick, we beat the Rams twice.
Yeah.
We beat the Seahawks 3 times. We ended the Cowgirl season. We were the NFC West champs by sweeping the division. CMC, as I said in Leeds, I love that man. And when he scored that touchdown, I was like shouting it. I definitely love that man. And you look back on the moments we've had, you look back on the games. Now, yes, I'm as worried as the next man about Brock Purdy. And I'm hoping that the news is good. But at the moment, I'm trying to just focus on day to day. Just trying to work through the comments. So Ash Sugden has joined us.
Good day, mate.
Kev Williams has put, "Come on, Nick. The podcast brought me back up. Don't bring me back down." So for those people that haven't checked out the pod, like Kev, it was our group therapy session. We're not going to go over the same stuff tonight. We're trying a different vibe on the live. Obviously, we're talking about the same game. We're 49ers fans, but yeah, I could sense in our DMs earlier, Nick, you probably weren't as positive as what I was feeling. I am known in the group for the guy with a smile. I enjoyed the meetup, so maybe my mind's in a different place to you because I watched the game with everybody. But I think I'd be more disappointed, mate, if we were sat here now and the Eagles had absolutely wiped the floor with us, and there wasn't injuries. But the penalties is a difficult one. I'm not going to sit here and blame the referees. 7 out of the 11 penalties went for first downs. There was some very what I call soft penalties. They
weren't soft, mate. They were awful.
I'm trying to be diplomatic because for me, if you come on and you blame the referees, it's a dangerous path sometimes. And I just think some of them were soft, some of them were game-changing in those regards. But I'll go back to what I said at the start of the show, mate. Brock Purdy getting injured. What do you expect an offense to do about a quarterback? We joked that Kyle Shanahan would like to do what the Commanders did and run the ball 49 times on the Eagles. Now, Purdy couldn't throw the ball, so all he had to do was stack the box. And as good as CMC is, it was disappointing to get beat by the scoreline we got beat. I will say at this point, 18 minutes in, which we forgot to do at the start, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles, NFC champs. You go on to the big one. I've had some nice messages from Eagles fans, which is probably, compared to some of the stuff I've seen on social media, maybe I'm the only 49ers fan that is. But like I said, I'm not going to come on the show tonight, Nick, and have a go at anybody. We wear our hearts on our sleeves. I don't do other sports. I just do the NFL. I do the 49ers. I will be out to watch the Super Bowl. At this point, I'm not particularly bothered who wins. That's a lie. I want the Chiefs to win. I don't want the Eagles to win after that. But
there's the salt.
As Mr. Kittle would do.
Just a touch. Yeah, it's an odd one, isn't it? I mean, I know we mentioned the penalties. If you change all of those penalties, we still don't win. Richard Sherman has come out and said it's the worst championship weekend refereeing performance of all time. It was awful. But even if you change all of them, it doesn't change the result. We still probably lose that game. Because like you said, how do you play this wonderful game that we love without a quarterback? If you can't throw the ball, you're done. There's no threat. There's no impetus. You can't keep the defense honest, and as good as our defense is, they can't hold back the tide. It's hard work, but there's a huge amount of positives when you look at how we ended the Seahawks. We swept the division. We ended the Cowboys. We went on a 12-game winning streak. We rode Mr. Irrelevant to the NFC Championship. There's a huge amount to love about this season. The memories that were created. You've seen the group in itself. Like you say, I was seeing the pictures coming up. I was sat in that little bar in Swansea and I'm watching you guys popping up on Sky Sports. I'm like, I see Lee. I know him. I'm friends with him. I know him. And that's all they got from me for a couple of minutes. And you could see all of you there. And you could see you guys were buzzing. They showed the pictures of the celebrations of when CMC scored. I did all I wanted to do was be there with you guys. It looked absolutely amazing. So it's the memories that were created this year, and they should stay with us. They should. The group is growing. It's getting bigger and bigger and better and better. You guys said the things on obviously in the podcast last night. It was dropped today. The group's only going to move forward. This is awesome. We are literally just at the beginning of a truly incredible journey with the 49ers. The amount of effort they've put in this season in their first time Imagine next year. Imagine what's coming. I mean, it's amazing. You saw the intake of new members in the group this week, and it was like, wow, like, yes, this is awesome. More faithful. This is what we want. Apologies to the Leeds United fans in the group. I personally enjoyed seeing Leeds lit up in red. I thought it was wonderful. It's a personal thing, admittedly, but there we are. There was a lot of white jerseys there as well. I dare say they'd probably be preferred by the Leeds United fans. But it's awesome. You could see your faces in the pictures. It was amazing. You guys must have had an absolute ball up there. I wish I'd been there with you guys to commiserate. I really do. Your mic's off, Paul.
I did a Lee Gowland there. That's what Lee did yesterday. So
here we go.
Now, Lee did jinx me. He said we have some sound issues. So I do prepare for these my old-fashioned pen and paper. And believe it or not, I've had 8 actual meetups this year with other fans. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh my God, that is, and he stole the words. It was fantastic. Fantastic that I've had so many meetups, and I've seen Lee Gowland with that fantastic smile of his so many times. So the in-joke for people tuning in, go listen to the pod. You'll understand what we're going on about with the fantastic. But for me, when I first joined the group, I think we had one meetup in the season, and then we used to have the Super Bowl meetup, and then it's quietly got bigger and bigger. And like you said, I'll be honest, Nick, I wasn't going to Leeds. When it was first announced, I was like, I've just been to Glasgow for flagging in the new year. I'm out for the Super Bowl. Can I really get away with it with another night? And then talking to Lee, and we drove down. And the likes of Kev and Jay Peplow, I was as stunned when they walked into the venue on Sunday as I was when Neil Graham strolled into the casino. And it just goes to show you, like we've said, if you've not been to a meet-up, and if you're a new member watching this show tonight for the first time, just come. We had a young lad there on Sunday night, Nick. So Luke from Wasserman's came up to me and he said, "Oh, hiya, Paul. Young lad here. He's a bit nervous." And I can say it because he's posted in the group. He's autistic. Can he come and stand with you lot? So he came over. Me and Nadji introduced him. I pointed to the 49ers logo and I said, "You're not on your own anymore, son. You're with family." And he was beaming. I got a photo of him with a flag. And he's put a lovely post in the group, and I've sent that on to the marketing company who were passing that on to Nick Clark. And it just goes to show you, I think people who have come this year for the first time have said how welcoming the meets are. You're watching football with like-minded people. The only thing missing from the Leeds meetups at the moment is a W. Now, we are smashing the talk of it being a curse. There is no curse. Just think of each meetup as being a stepping stone. And when we get that first win, I will go back on this show and I will screenshot Martin's fireballs all round and I'll present that to Martin.
This is it. You're not going to want to miss that victory. Let's be honest. I mean, I was obviously at the meetup in Bristol last year against the Vikings. And that was, it wasn't a massive amount of us. There were about 20 of us. And that was awesome. So to be there with a couple of hundred, wow. You guys said, the noise that erupted during the score, during the Trent thing, it was like being there, and that's what this is about. And you said it perfect. It's a family. We are a family. We're spread across the entire, length and breadth of this tiny little island we call home. We are a family.
I mean, whilst you're talking there, Nick, there's a couple of comments coming in. People down south, people in Bournemouth, people in Plymouth, there's people up in Scotland. Trust us, Lee's vision has always been to move the 49erFaithfulUK meetups around the UK. I mean, it's well documented, Lee. I knew I'd get that in tonight somewhere. That you were going to go to Ireland before the 49ers got in touch with us, Nick. This year, the meetup plans were week 1, Birmingham. Me and Jay Peplow were going to do our own meetup, and Lee was going to do one in Ireland. And then obviously the 49ers get in touch with you. Still blows me away that my personal details, someone from the 49ers reaches out and says, "Hi guys, do you want to jump on a Zoom call?" And then you meet Nick Clark, and once you meet that man, again, we've said it time and time again, what a legend that bloke is, and he's fully invested in our group. So if he tells us he's going to have a meet up in Leeds, we're going to go. And I know, Ash, as a Leeds United fan in the group, the fact that you've missed 3 meetups, which I know you've got family commitments and work commitments, and honestly, the plan will be to move around. Equally, the group has grown bigger and bigger. So we've always said, Nick, that if you have your own mini meetup, as we call it, tag the group, send us the photos. I mean, again, Super Bowl, if you're going out to your local pub, your local bar, your local casino, put a message in the group. Hi, I'm in Plymouth. I'm going to be at this bar to watch the Super Bowl. Hi, I'm up in Glasgow. And we'll try and coordinate it because, to be honest, and I haven't shared this with Lee, this is an exclusive for the show. The dream for the 49ers must be to have multiple watch parties in different parts of the UK, because that means the UK is red and gold. Now, we can't be at all of them all at the same time. So, like people are saying, the meetups are fantastic. And the group's grown from strength to strength. Jay Peplow, better late than never, buddy. I'll let you off.
His ears must have been burning.
His ears must have been burning. So, like, I know you're not going up to Leeds with the rest to the Victoria Casino for the Super Bowl. I'm not going to Leeds this time. I think you're going down to, well, Kev's coming to Swansea.
Kev's coming to Swansea, yeah. Unfortunately, my best friend has gone and been, frankly, very selfish, I thought. And he's getting married, and he's made me best man, so I have to go to the stag do, which has left me, meaning I have to go to Plymouth for the stag do, because that's, oddly, after it being mentioned, that's where I lived for 15 years before moving back to Swansea. So I have to go. I can't not go for that. So my funds were tied up, as much as I would love to have been with you guys in Leeds for that, and even for the Super Bowl, because there's nothing like watching football with other fans. You know, it's special. We all love it.
And as Simon says, this is what I'm hoping for. Imagine the 49ers at Wembley's a road team. The meetup will be epic, of epic proportions. It will be the fantastic of fantastic nights, days, weekends. It'll be amazing. Now,
can you imagine though, mate, walking up to Wembley Stadium with several thousand faithful chanting, "Let's go Niners"? I mean, that's going to put a tingle down the spine.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. Like Michael is echoing the thought of all of us. To be honest, Nick, I forget. This is a humble brag about the 49erFaithfulUK Twitter account. I forget sometimes that we've got quite the reach on Twitter. So when they announced the Jags has played at Wembley, I think I quote tweeted it saying "London baby" with the Joey Tribbiani, and then we started getting inboxes saying, "Can I get a ticket?" And the ticket's on sale. Like, and the Niners definitely coming. I was like, hang on, that's just my own opinion. Sorry, Nick Clark, I haven't leaked anything, but it just goes to show that we're all on the same page, Michael, Simon, everybody watching. I already have my weekend pass out. Tracy's already said if the Niners come to London, yeah, you're going. So I know I'm definitely there. So for those people watching who are based in Plymouth, Trailblazer and Sarah, who's a big part of the group, will be watching.
She is.
Now, Sarah has put a post together where she's asked where people are watching the Super Bowl, and all you have to give her is the postcode, and she's going to put together a little map, which will be useful for people moving forward. But yeah, I mean, your mood's lifted, Nick. That was my aim for tonight. When you came on the show, you were looking a little bit doom and gloom. You were looking a bit like how we all felt. And now you're getting back on this side. Come on.
This is it. This is the point of therapy. You get better. You start low. You get better. You build. You build. You build. I don't want to build too much. I've got neighbours. They'll get upset. I don't need any more passive-aggressive notes under my door, and there's no risk of any more for the rest of the year. Well, not until September anyway. But how can you not be? And you talk about the group. How can you not be chuffed about? How can you not be excited about what's to come? You know, it's Niners, baby.
And look already. So Mr. Peplow is dying to organise his own meetup. And if you've met Jay, you know what an infectious smile that man has. And he's just put it out there. He's got a Bristol meetup planned with Kev P, who apparently doesn't know. He does now because he's watching Jay. And a Cardiff meetup. And to be honest, I've already said to Tracy that Wales is somewhere that I would like to go back to. And I've reached out to Nick and Kevin, said if it's something that I can get on. Like this year, I went to 8 meetups. I went up to Falkirk to the awesome Candlestick Inn with Brett. That place is a must visit for any 49ers fans. No, I've had a couple of meetups at my local casino with my flag team, similar to what you do. And it feels weird because I'm normally used to being allowed out to play once or twice a year with other Niners fans. And I said to Tracy, my Game Pass didn't get used as much on a Sunday this year, but hoping for... So Keith has put in here, cheers for joining in, Keith. I know you were up in Gloucester at the weekend with the Reynolds boys. So there he's going to walk about in Brighton, I believe. He's taking his flag with him. Let's have a look. So
that's it, guys. Flags galore. We want to see them all over the UK.
So, yeah. So Lee is Martin's put meeting up in the Super Bowl. At least we can't lose. And to be fair, I joked about it on last night's pod that Lee had a glimpse of what it's like running the social media for a week because Lee and Nick Clark single-handedly put together the meetup. That's just gone. I had nothing to do with it. Obviously, I tweeted a few things out, but just want to say again, Lee, thank you for all your hard work. It was obviously well received. The meetup was awesome, and enjoy a well-earned break this week. And I hope Andrea is getting some attention because I'm sure your phone was as crazy as mine normally is. So, yeah, comments coming in. Bristol, that was one of my favourite meetups. I really enjoyed that. Well, Martin, that may be the plan. If I can, be half as successful as Lee. We were talking, and it segues nicely. Just think of the year the group have had. And it started off with Lee announcing Sammy Womack's pick in Vegas. They were there for Brock Purdy being drafted. And then to think we've had 2 official 49er meetups. We've had an unofficial one, because obviously this had passing of the Queen. Indeed. And that's why I'm sat here smiling. I'm smiling with all my Niners gear on. I'm confident the future of the team. I'm confident of the future. So Lee has jumped in. So yeah, Aaron from Leeds United organised the actual event. But what I meant, Lee, is when Leeds United released the tickets, you coordinated to make sure that everybody in the group who didn't get a ticket got one. And honestly, Nick, as soon as we walked in, I've got to give the Leeds United staff, they were top notch all night, buddy. They had the merchandise out, they had the mannequins with the shirts on, they had the bar, we got a free drink at half time, the giveaways. And obviously for me, when Sky Sports presenter walked down, I was like talking. I was trying not to look at the camera. I was made up for Lee. And what was even sweeter is that you'll have seen the 49er Faithful UK patch on Lee's jumper. Jersey, sorry.
Couldn't miss it.
Stage, so
it was brilliant. It's been spectacular. I think the one thing I would add, obviously, see all the faithful going out for games as well. I was really lucky. I got to go out for a couple myself, but I think the flag, I think it made it to every single game with the likes of Nick as well, who obviously lives in New Jersey, who does a lot of work helping with the 49er Rush stuff. But there was so many faithful going out. It goes to show just how big the Niners are here. Yeah, there are some other teams. Forget the other 32. 31 even. We'll get the numbers right eventually, Paul. It's amazing to see, and it's so cool to see the pictures coming in. And like, yeah, that's cool. Because every time you see those pictures, you go back to your own memories and things start flooding back, and it's awesome. And we're going to see more and more of that. We're going to get to see more and more people making these spectacular memories. Hopefully we'll all get to make one spectacular memory together when we lift the number 6, and we can all cheer to a point that it registers on earthquake machines in London, because I think that probably would happen in the way we can give it some. But future's bright, mate.
Well, I'm smiling there because we've not just smashed it on the field this year as the 49ers, but as the 49er Faithful UK, we smashed it off the field. We've got this awesome show going live every Tuesday. The flag, Lee has done an epic job in getting the flags out. I still remember when he turned up after Vegas when I had my injury and he had a draft cap for me, which we'll get onto in a minute, and flag. But Larry Kruger and Ryan Smith, I wanted to take a moment to mention them because they were doing the Tales from the Bay for Gridiron, and they had myself on twice. They had Lee on, and Lee sent Larry a flag. And Larry Kruger has been flying that flag on all his shows. And he did a show the other night with Steve Young, and our flag was in the background. And like you said, Wayne Breezy, Nicholas, John Chapman, they all fly the flag. Now, before we move on, Lee has announced some ambitious plans for the gold mine next year. So he is hoping to take 40 49er Faithful UK members for one game, take over the gold mine and show them how the 49er Faithful UK party. Now, you have had an experience of the gold mine. Do you think Lee is right in saying that 40 of us would be the loudest that's ever seen?
Of course we would, baby. Of course we would. Yeah, we'd feel that. It would be incredible. I think Levi's might look at us a bit funny. There'd be some different accents coming from that corner of the stadium in one loud voice instead of a little muted one, maybe. But, dude, we do the faithful proud. We do the faithful proud in a big way, man. Neil, it's there. Of course it is. Lee got it spot on. I can't say any better. We would be the loudest. It'd be immense.
I mean, Neil's comment there. So I have a couple of group chats going on similar to most people, and none of the non-49er fans have a fan group that we have. They don't have the meetup that we have. We've been on Sky Sports a number of times. We've got close links to the organisation. So Neil, you've said it perfect. We've also been joined by my brother from another mother. Let's have a little look. Connor Ryan, T-side logo. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Chance for joining us, Connor. Keitha, 100% know you'd be up for going to Levi's. James Waters, he's definitely feeling our energy. The quest for 6 begins. And that, for me, obviously, I've stole a phrase from Ryan. Keep the faith, never lose hope. And that's why I'm smiling. I remember when we were 2-14. I remember when we had Brian Hoyer as quarterback. I remember when our big splash in free agency was, Pierre Garçon. And, you look at the players we've got now. Now, again, we're going to lose some players in free agency.
Of course we are.
But the cap has gone up. We have a magician in charge of the salary cap.
We do.
So we will get into that talk later on. But I don't know about you, Nick, but do you think they're ready for a giveaway yet? Because I'm not feeling it in the comments.
I'm not. I got to be honest. I don't think there's enough hype in those comments for this giveaway, to be fair. I think we should just keep it. What do you reckon, Paul?
Well, we do have
in the comments.
Let's have a little look. I'll get my little banner going on. Don't have a mouse. Let's see if this works. So before we do the giveaway, we'll give people time to comment. We have some breaking news regarding the giveaway, don't we, Nick? There's a certain person in the group mentioning no names, but I'm gonna hand this over to you as host. So I'd like you to explain that there is one name missing from the Wheel of Fortune.
There is. He has been removed. There's been evidence of PEDs and we've had to remove Kev Fippen from the draw as a result. I know a lot of you. Kev, he gets a lot. He does very well with these giveaways. Does our Kev? He's a bit of a ledge. I mean, if I see his entered, I tend not to. So, I think without any further ado, there, Paul, I think they are ready for a giveaway here.
So, unofficially, if you're thinking your image, everybody, of Trent Williams laying out number 42, that's what Nick was doing to Kev earlier when we removed him. But he did say, fair play to him, guilty as charged. So this is where Lee is waiting for me to make a mistake. So let's have a little look. So I need to share my screen. I need to share the tab. Here we go. Now, as you can see on there, we should have everybody who has liked both pages.
Paul.
Yeah.
No.
Hang on. What's happened?
We can't see it.
Ah. We did this test, didn't we, at the start?
We did the test and it worked perfectly, I might add. It genuinely was perfect. Of course, when we're live, something happens. There it is. There it goes. Right. We've got it coming up.
Right. So,
yeah.
Let's have a look. Hang on. So, I'm not as fancy as Lee. I don't have two screens. So, there's 31 names on there. So, without further ado, I am going to press the button. This is live.
Good luck, everyone.
Here we go. Good luck. Thank you for taking part.
And round it goes. Where it stops, the winner is... Ooh!
We have a winner. So...
Hello. It is Mr. Alec Simpson.
So,
Mr. Fact Checker himself.
It certainly is, yep. So there we go. So Alec, if you hit me up with your DMs, hit me up in my DMs, sorry, with the address. Lee has a draft cap, so we'll arrange to get that posted to you, buddy. So thank you for everybody who did obviously take part. The band have been blown away by the support from the 49er Faithful UK. We'd like to see that continue. The song Red and Gold is on my playlist. It's awesome. And keep your eyes peeled. That won't be the last giveaway on this show. That's all I'm saying. But congratulations, Alec. And Paul Scrimshaw's jumped in. Justice for Kev. In all fairness, Paul, Kev already has the hat. So to be fair, Kev entered the competition and then he reached out early this afternoon. He said, look, boys, take me out. I'd rather somebody else have the chance to win, and we were joking earlier, so there is a little bit of justice there. So yes, Alec, you have won the giveaway, so congratulations, buddy.
That little black book, it's brought you some luck. Get on.
To be fair to him, he hasn't called us out because I don't think anybody's bold predictions were right on Sunday. So
no, this is it. I think what we'll do, I think we'll bring it back to the positivity about the actual game itself and the season that we've just had. I know we've said an awful lot. Now, the next thing coming is Honours Night. Now, there are 8 categories in total for the NFL Honours Night. The Niners are in 5 of them. 5. Rubbish teams don't end up in 5 of those categories. The only 3 we don't have a player in, and we don't have one for MVP. We don't have one for offensive player of the year, and we don't have one in for defensive rookie of the year. That's it. You look at defensive player of the year is a slam dunk. It's Nick Bosa. If it's anyone else, he's been robbed. You look at comeback player of the year. I can see that going multiple ways. I can see the argument for Saquon Barkley. I can see the argument for Geno Smith as well. In fairness, the guy has actually had a pretty good season leading that Seahawks team to the playoffs too. Coach of the year. I'm sorry. For me, it's Kyle Shanahan. I know Sirianni's just taken the Eagles to the Super Bowl, but he didn't do that with QB3. Sorry, that for me gives it to Kyle Shanahan. Assistant coach of the year, D'Amico Ryans. The guy's been phenomenal. We're going to lose him. He's going to be sorely missed. He's been absolutely amazing. I'll be honest, I'm surprised he didn't rule himself out the running for the Texans job. I didn't think he'd take that one myself. I thought he would hold out for... To be honest, I thought he'd hold out for better. They don't have the best of track records when it comes to first-time coaches. They do get a little fire happy, a little too fast. He's going to need time because that roster ain't great. So we'll see if he does take that job. And then you've got Offensive Rookie of the Year. Of course, I'm biased. It's Brock. I know you've got Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson. They have both had very good years. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking that away from them, but none of them are quarterbacks. They're not playing the hardest position in sport. There's a difference to that. This is why MVP 9 times out of 10 is a quarterback. We don't like it, but there comes that certain prestige. There's the weight of the shoulders. The weight of the organization is on your shoulders, even. We will get the right words out eventually. So for me, it is Brock. But that's 8 categories, 5 players, and there's been plenty of others in between. So we can improve. We can go for number 6 next year. So why not?
I'm trying to be honest, what's awesome, Nick, I'm listening and I'm trying to multitask. So I've got all the comments coming in. So Ty, who obviously a good friend of the show, but he's been working. Better late than never, buddy, what I'm going to say. Lee Gowland, listening to what you were saying there. Willis for Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Also Defensive Player of the Year. Purdy, Rookie of the Year. Colin, who joined us in Leeds. Colin, if you've never met Colin, what that man does know about American football. My God, the first meet-up in Leeds, I was blown away by Colin's experience. So next meet-up, make sure to have a chat with Colin. So if he's saying Purdy for MVP, let's have a look.
Colin, have you got an inside track on whether or not he's having this surgery then? Well, it sounds like you might do.
Simon may have got me and Nick into trouble last week. I'm only joking. Simon coming with the banter bombs again. So Bosa was going to win Defensive Player of the Year, but they penalised him for running into the kicker backstage. I flashed up Andy's comment just before. He's just put, thanks for a great show, chaps. Off to run Dad's taxi service. We'll watch it later. And he says, thanks for everyone for making the newbies welcome. So echoing what we were saying earlier, Nick. And just on the side note of that, I'm not going to go back over it. We've all been newbies at one point.
Yeah.
So just come to the next one.
Absolutely.
Keitha, don't worry, Keitha. The 49er Germany faithful are always welcome. And we did have a couple from the States last night. The good friends with 49er Mark. They were awesome. They were blown away. And they were in the awesome photos that Wayne took. So I have that on my notepad. I know we waxed lyrical about Wayne last night. But my God, Nick, that man with his camera and his pictures. And
deserves every word that was said.
I was buzzing to get a couple of photos of him. And he was a bit like me. I was like, yep, you get behind that side. And Simon, I'm joking. It was about the humour. Me and Nick may have taken it a little bit too far last week. But keep them coming. I love to see it. And again, Andrew, we will be doing certain shows on free agency. Obviously, we need to look. We've got quite a lot of free agents. It's going to be,
it's an extensive list, really, isn't it? So there's a lot to look at. There's obviously still Super Bowl to go yet. We still haven't hit the sort of legal tampering period, and even though we all know it's going on long beforehand, but I'm still healing from the loss, but I know for a fact the group will bring me up. Always does. Every time.
You were talking about the honours list. For me, there's not enough 49ers on that list, but I'm biased. I am probably the most biased 49ers fan in the world. But honestly, Andrew, the 49ers are the team that keeps giving for content creators. And we will be going into the off-season. We've got our plans, obviously, the draft, the free agency. I know Lee and Nick and a few of the others that were out at Levi's this year, they're going to do some special edition pods which talk about their experiences, because it was quite a lot to squeeze into one pod. So, but Wayne, honestly, buddy, it isn't just the fact that you come and you take the pictures, you're engaging, you talk to everybody, and it shows what the group is all about for me. We all play a part, and we've got the admins, we've got the people who do the podcasts, but we'd be nothing without everybody else. And the group is what it is. And that's why the watch parties are going to get bigger and bigger. But you may be able to answer this one from Simon. I think he's made him with a bit of the humour. But For me, if Kyle Shanahan doesn't win Coach of the Year, if Bosa doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year, if Brock doesn't come away with at least Offensive Rookie of the Year, I will be annoyed. I'm not going to lie. Sirianni, yes, the Eagles have got the Super Bowl. They've got a good roster. But you would argue, if you flip them, would Kyle Shanahan be able to do what Sirianni has done? And the answer to that question is yes. Would Sirianni be able to do what Kyle Shanahan did without the injuries? Nowhere. And that's not me being bitter. Honestly, it's not. My opinion is I think Sirianni made a good move handing off the defensive coordinator duties last year. I think the roster was quite strong, but they haven't been battle tested in my eyes.
No, same. So, I mean, I think maybe Doug. I think Doug Pedersen's on the list. I mean, he took over a dumpster fire, didn't he? Really, and he took him to the playoffs. So I could see the argument for him, but I'm sorry. Yeah, of course I'm biased. I cannot look past Kyle for that. It's just the job that he's done this year, growing the whole thing, has just been spectacular. The team has been something else, and it started a bit rough. Jimmy came in, the team got a bit better. Brock came in, it got better again. It just kept getting better. If things weren't going right in the first halves of games, changes were made. We came back from behind and we won those games. So, well, certainly after the bye week, we did anyway. There's so much to be proud of. There's so much to be happy about.
So, Jordan, well done. You've joined us for the first time on YouTube Live. Great to see the photos of you at the weekend with Keitha having your own mini meetup. As Simon says, he has no doubt in his mind Kyle hasn't finished adding trophies to the cabinet just yet. Now, we have been doing a segment of Would You Rather on this show. And I'm not going to lie, I think both me and Nick struggled with this one because obviously we were hoping to be sat here now, everybody, talking about Would You Rather Brock wins a Super Bowl with a 50-yard bomb or Debo runs one in. Now,
exactly,
our season has come to an end, sadly, Nick. So my Would You Rather, I've toyed with what I should do. And I thought, we'll try and give the group a bit of a laugh. I know your spirit needed lifted. I am, for all clarity, stealing this idea from the locker room rant boys again. John V asks a certain question, so I'm going to tweak it. So, Nick, it is well known that me and you play flag football, buddy.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, imagine the scenario next year, you're at the 49ers game, you're in the gold mine, and an announcement goes on in the tannoy, and you get called out from the stands, and you have to take the field for our beloved San Francisco 49ers. Now, would you rather catch a punt return and try and run it in?
Okay.
Or would you rather be snapping the ball to the long snapper, as in snapping the ball, because I know you play centre, for them to kick the field goal? They're your two options, buddy. And I want to know which one you would pick and why.
Right. Now, the obvious choice, given that I'm a centre in flag, would be snapping. But that's not easy. Now, my snaps don't have to go very far. The maximum is 7 yards.
Just think, you get those blockers out in front of you.
You do.
Head of steam, bit of gathering. Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. I'm only 6 foot tall. And the idea of like 11 massive athletes coming at me is truly terrifying, actually, come to think about it. That wall coming at you. I mean, I remember the first time I went out to Levi's, I stood within 3 feet of Calais Campbell. I was like, oh my good Lord. This man is a physical mountain. I've never felt so small. So do I potentially make a tit of myself snapping? Do you know what? I'm going to take the punt return because at worst comes to worst, I can just run out of bounds.
So, like I said, I toyed with different ones and I thought the locker room rant boys, when you go on there, they ask you, do you think you could hit a home run in baseball?
Yeah.
Or could you return a punt? And there's a long talk about dependent on the team, if you're getting, blockers. Now, Connor's been very quiet, and then he pipes up at this point. So Connor is currently getting a request to bet for this, and he's saying, "Don't let him down, Nick." He's on whatever betting company he's on, and he's got his betting, so he has the confidence in you.
Don't ask me. I am not the one to be asking about betting, and we know this.
So Jamie says punt return all the way. So yeah, for those at home, I just wanted to have a bit of light-hearted at this point in the show. I didn't want to go down the 49ers route too much. So thank you for playing along, Nick. Have you got one for me now? Is this where you ask me the same question, or?
I do, but unfortunately, I've gone back down the bad route. I spent about an hour on this because I kept starting to write something and then just going, no, I don't like that. Start writing something. No, I don't like that. Honest to God, I'm not going to show you the full. That is genuinely how it started. It's would you rather cross it out, cross it out, cross it out. Couldn't think of anything that I wanted. And okay, so I've got two almost evils for you, Paul. Really
doesn't surprise me.
I've got more lined up for the off season, mate. Trust me, I've been thinking of others for them. So would you rather have been in Philly for last night's loss, or would you rather be going to Super Bowl knowing the Niners are not playing?
That's a horrible question. Now I know when you DM'd me earlier, and I was like, wow.
Sorry, man. I actually feel really bad. I'm actually sorry.
I did see a faithful that I'm following on Twitter, and he shared a TikTok, and it said, imagine spending $2,000 to watch your fourth choice quarterback in the game, and the camera flashed to him in the middle of all the Eagles fans. I think I would take the Super Bowl because, as a fan of the NFL, as much as it hurts at the moment that we're not in the big game, I know I'll be up for it when the Super Bowl comes around. And I think the experience of being out there would be once in a lifetime. I haven't been out to the States to watch the game. I haven't seen an NFL game live yet. When I got into the sport, 2013, we played at Wembley, and for whatever circumstances at the time, I wasn't allowed to go. Hence why this year I'm caught and Tracy's fully on board. But I think if you'd asked me that question last week, I'd have said being in Philly because I wanted to have been there. But given how we know the game went, and that was what, before we finish off, that's what I can understand people's frustrations are with how we've lost. But I'm not going to end on a sour note. So I'd take the Super Bowl. I'd rock the red and gold. I'll be there represented. So that's what I'd take. But it was a horrible question. Thanks for that, mate.
I genuinely feel bad about it. I feel horrific after that. I am really sorry.
So James has put there that answering your question, he would take the punt return. He might frighten them with his 20+ stone and 6'6" at bulk.
James got a chance there.
Imagine trying to block you. And Jamie's put there, Super Bowl, couldn't miss the UK meet. So yeah,
fair.
No, to be fair, it was a good question in all honesty. But as soon as you said it, I was like, oh.
I know. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Mr. Vice President. Please forgive.
It's okay. I'll mark it down. One strike. Now, you're very unfortunate that Connor Ryan is watching because that man has a list, and he's good friends of mine. So you do not want to be on Connor's list. At the moment, there's only a couple of people on there. If you want to know, hit me up off air because we're already new in the flag community and we don't want to get banned yet. But all I'll say is there's someone in the flag community that's on Connor's list, and you will laugh when I tell you. But no.
Is it Ash?
It's not Ash Purdy. We love Ash Purdy. My God. We love him even more. I was just about to say, before we finish off, please do. You got the bet, didn't you? You got him.
I did.
Jersey.
Mm-hmm. I got him. He wasn't happy that I was wearing Purdy. He was asking because he is an Iowa State Cyclones fan. Obviously, he watched Purdy play in college out there when he spent the year there. But but there was absolutely no way I was giving him that. So yeah, I made him wear my George Kittle jersey. Given obviously Hawkeyes, and also that particular George Kittle jersey I bought when I was 19 stone, and Ash is only like 5'6", so it was big. It was big on him. But there we are. He's a good sport. Fair play to him, because I wouldn't have done it.
Some good news for you. Connor has said you'll never be on the list. Now,
Days.
Andrew, this is the question on all 49ers fans' lips at the moment.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's a difficult one, because we all remember what Mahomes and the Chiefs did to us a couple of years ago. But after seeing the footage of some of the Niners fans, with what they had experienced with some of the Eagles fans, and I'm not saying all Eagles fans are like that, but seeing that footage, and the fact of the matter was they didn't beat us, what I call fair and square. I'm going to be going for the AFC team on the night. I'll be rocking red and gold. I'll be at the Grosvenor Casino in Stockton. We've got about 40 on the list at the moment with my flag football team. So there's a couple of Niners, there's a couple of other fans from other teams. So I'm looking forward to that one. So I won't be down in Leeds with El Presidente and the rest. I would have had a very difficult decision to make if the Niners had got there, given the awesome meetup that we've just had. But I think, Dan, is what we're all thinking. We do just want the Eagles to lose. And if you are watching, Eagles fans, or if this clip gets, edited and tweeted out, come at me in my DMs. I don't care. I don't like the way it ended. And for me, I think that's how we feel. Are you on the same page, Nick? Or are you with the Eagles?
I told you at the beginning, I'm salty. I want to see the Eagles get stuffed. I do. There's no point pretending. I'd be lying. I'm not a big fan of the Chiefs, but yeah, for the exact same reasons you just said, I wasn't a fan of the way the faithful were treated on the way out of the stadium. I didn't like that. It does seem to be a little bit of a theme. There was that video a few years back of the batteries being pelted at Bucks fans. But like you said, they're not all going to be like that. They're not. It's not possible for them all to be like that. But for that reason alone, I'm afraid, sorry, the nice people of Philadelphia, I have to want you to lose because of the bad people.
So I'm glad Keitha popped up in the chat earlier. And Keitha said that he'll be going to the walkabout in Brighton, because I know after Sunday's loss, he wasn't going to go out and watch it. As NFL fans in the UK, I often refer to the Super Bowl as the Oscars. No matter which teams are there, I always go out and watch it. I always find it quite nice to end the season talking to other fan bases. And that's how I wanted to end the show tonight. I'm going to go back over something I said earlier, Nick. We have a lot to be excited about. We've just accomplished this season 12 wins in a row, 3 quarterbacks, CMC. You look back, when I can't wait to fire up Game Pass over the next week, preparing for the end of season review, and go back and have to pick what's your favourite touchdown, what's your favourite moment, what's this. That the positivity will be beaming in me. So for me, there's a lot to be positive about. I do believe we'll be back next year. We'll be back with a vengeance. And is there anything else, any final thoughts you've got, Nick, before we let these good people get on with the rest of their evening?
I think I just want to say thank you to the group. I think it's been a spectacular season. I've been lucky enough to make some fantastic new friends, make some wonderful memories that will last a lifetime. And I think going forward, all I want to, I'd really love to think that more of that's going to happen for everybody. We're a family, man. Football's family.
Yeah, totally echo everything that you said. So now we get to the business end. So please like, subscribe, 49erFaithfulUK. It's our own YouTube channel. We are definitely trying to grow the subscriptions. Please do follow us on Twitter. I'm close to the 5,000 mark. And please share the video, share the podcasts. We love the feedback. And like you said, Nick, the group's going from strength to strength. I'll just see if there's any final comments before we shoot out. So Simon's jumped on. Thanks for all we do. Like we said, it's a team effort, Simon. The group is amazing. Martin, really appreciate you for tuning in. We will be back next week at 8
Michelle.
o'clock. I also can confirm that the week after, for those eagle-eyed, will realise that not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after will be Valentine's Day.
Indeed.
Now, to be fair to Nick, Nick did say we could have the night off. I spoke to my good lady Tracy, especially on the back of my promotion, and she said, no, the show comes first. So we will be here next Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and we'll also be here the Tuesday after. But all I want to say is thank you, faithful. Keep the faith. Never lose hope. And until next week, go Niners.
Go Niners.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in our heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, deep fart. Garrison Hurst, stiff fart.